to the Worldwide Toast to Kentucky Bourbon.
Welcome to an extraordinary celebration. We're so glad you can be with us today as we make bourbon history.
Wherever you are, if you have a glass of Kentucky bourbon in your hand, you're ready to share a moment of camaraderie with bourbon lovers around the world.
So get a pour of your favorite ready. In just a few moments, we'll be toasting together.
It started some 250 years ago. European immigrants settled in Kentucky in search of a new life. And some brought with them the first rugged stills and the knowledge from their homelands to use them. Their collective craftsmanship gave birth to Kentucky bourbon.
September is Bourbon Heritage Month in America. This is when we celebrate the history and art of distilling bourbon.
Since bourbon was influenced by folks all around the world, we think it's time we invited more of you to the celebration.
And that's why we've gathered here today, to toast a spirit that has been bringing people together for over 2 centuries, and to express our appreciation to everyone around the world who has made Kentucky bourbon what it is today.
Bourbon built the Commonwealth of Kentucky. It creates jobs, supports families, and communities.
And it's not just because of our fans in Kentucky and America. Today, Kentucky exports $500 million worth of bourbon around the world.
Which means we owe more than a bit of thanks to our friends overseas.
And now people from across America and around the world don't just drink bourbon, they travel to Kentucky to be a part of it. 25 years ago, 7 Kentucky distilleries set out to create a tourism destination to showcase the craftsmanship and hospitality of Kentucky.
In the same way bourbon brings family and friends together, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail brings people together from all over the world.
Today, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail features 46 of the world's best bourbon distillers. Millions of visitors travel every year to visit the trail and the one true home of bourbon, Kentucky.
95% of the world's bourbon is made right here in Kentucky, and we couldn't be prouder to share it with the world.
Kentucky bourbon and the Kentucky Bourbon Trail have become global and cultural phenomenons. So let us express our appreciation to the people who made it happen. You. At home, at tastings, at restaurants and bars, you and your love of bourbon have made our industry possible. The distilleries, communities, and people of Kentucky want to thank the world for making our home the home of bourbon and the world's most beloved bourbon experience.
The success of Kentucky bourbon and the Kentucky Bourbon Trail is due to folks from all over the world, and we think we should recognize you for that.
So are you ready with a pour? Get your glass of Kentucky bourbon ready. Whether you're gathered with friends or family, or enjoying a moment to yourself, we want to welcome you into our family for the next few minutes and toast to you, your support of Kentucky bourbon into the future.
The Worldwide Toast to Kentucky Bourbon is about to begin.
Welcome, everybody. It's finally here, the Worldwide Toast to Kentucky Bourbon. We are so excited to have you with us. I'm Katie. I've got Mandy joining me here. She's the director of Kentucky Bourbon Trail Experiences. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited. This is truly a historic moment. We're attempting something really unique. We're going live at 4 p.m. in every time zone around the globe to thank the world for making Kentucky bourbon the global phenomenon that it is today. And we're also celebrating Bourbon Heritage Month in America, as well as something very near and dear to my heart, the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
Yes, and over the next 24 hours, we're going to be dropping in on bourbon celebrations around the world. We're going to have some special guests with us joining throughout the day, so drop in at any time. This is going to be going on for quite some time, so you never know who you might drop in on. Yes. And we have a few of those folks about to join us in a few minutes.
Yeah, so since we have some special guests waiting, why don't we get this started?
Yes.
All right, well, we're making our way around the world and toasting at 4 p.m. in each time zone. And if my wrist does not lie to me, I think it's 4 o'clock somewhere.
I think your wrist is very accurate. So right now, it is 4 o'clock in our first time zone. That's home to the country of Kiribati, a small island country in the Central Pacific Ocean. So if you're tuning in from there, welcome. We are so happy to have you. And if not, and you're joining from someplace else, we're happy to have you wherever you are right now.
Remember to toast and post your toasting experience today as you join us. Let us know where you're toasting from, and remember the hashtag World Bourbon Toast, and tag the Kentucky Bourbon Trail across whatever social media platform you are using.
We want to see all of you.
Now, we have some very special bourbon guests joining us today. Joining us from Washington, D.C. is somebody very near and dear to my heart, my boss and the president of the Kentucky Distillers Association. Say hello to Eric Gregory.
Hi, Eric. Y'all are getting started without us.
We got started a little while ago without you. Sorry about that.
Hey, that's great. We're so excited to have you guys here with us today. So, Eric, tell us who you're with and why are you in D.C.?
Well, we're in D.C. here for the first time ever. Tomorrow, we're actually having a bourbon tasting with members of the Congressional Bourbon Caucus. Yes, there is such a thing, and it's probably the most popular caucus in Washington, D.C.
Can see
but
that.
we're so thrilled and blessed tonight to be with our friend Bill Thomas here at Jack Rose Dining Saloon in Washington for a special treat. We've had an incredible dinner, been drinking some amazing whiskeys, and they've got one of the most incredible whiskey libraries here. What, Bill, 2,700 bottles, you were telling me?
2,700 different SKUs, a lot of them Kentucky, a lot of heritage here, decades and decades of amazing whiskeys, including the 51 Stitzel we're drinking right now.
Yeah.
So, just to give you an idea of what you guys are missing.
Oh,
this
that's
is what Eric
amazing.
and I, that's what we're drinking tonight. So,
Wow.
Mandy, I know I owe you a sample, so I'll take
You're
care
making a lot of people jealous out there.
I will hold you to that, Bill. Okay, so Bill, question for you. Jack Rose has for a very long time been a mecca for bourbon and whiskey lovers around the world. You've had so many bourbon barons and celebrities darken your door over the years. Can you tell us about one of your favorite memories?
There's actually two. One, the 2015 when the KDA was hosting something on Capitol Hill, and every Hall of Famer you could possibly imagine, Bill Samuels, Fred Noe, Jerry Summers, Al Young, some of the late greats that are part of the bourbon history, to have them all in the same room, to see all of the people from DC walk in the door, and it was like seeing an all-star championship basketball team, like all the greats and legends of the game in the same place at the same time. Everyone was just like drop jaw. And of course they wanted tables just so that we could close to all the great Kentuckians that have contributed to whiskey over the years.
I remember the line to get Jimmy Russell was out the door.
It was
wow.
incredible.
That night.
Wow.
Incredible.
That's amazing. That is incredible. Well, we know there is so much that makes Kentucky bourbon special, but Eric, I'd love for you to tell us, what do you think makes Kentucky bourbon so special?
Well, I really think it's the people. I do. I mean, it's Kentucky bourbon for a reason, and it's 200 years of generations of Kentuckians who have crafted this bourbon and perfected this bourbon to be one of the world's greatest whiskeys. And, if you come to Kentucky, you feel that hospitality. You feel that unique and authenticity of people who are really passionate about what they do. So to me, it's not just the industry. It's not just the fact that, we've got millions of tourists every year. It's that they're coming here to visit the people who make it and have made it for generations and are so passionate about making it and welcoming people for, decades to come. That's what makes Kentucky bourbon special to me. Not just the fact that it is incredible whiskey, but
Yes.
the people behind it.
That's fantastic. Well, I think that's a great time for us to have everybody watching get your glasses ready because we're about to toast. And Eric and Bill, you guys are our first guests on this 24-hour live stream. We think you should say the first toast.
All right. Well, Bill, first of all, let me say thank you again. You've been a fantastic partner to the Kentucky bourbon industry now for years and years and years. And you have turned so many people on to Kentucky bourbon here. Really, first of all, cheers to you, Bill. I mean, seriously, you've done a fantastic job, and we couldn't be prouder to be a partner with this.
And well, thank you. And then I get a toast here. Absolutely. First of all, I want to say thank you to the KDA. I mean, Jack Rose has been supported by the KDA for more than a decade now. And it's been such an incredible, the amount of people that they brought through, and that like the night in 2015 when they brought through every legend of the game, all of the Hall of Famers. And to me, that is better than winning an Academy Award, being part of the Hall of Fame. And I've got to pitch this right now. Eric Gregory should be in the next Hall of Fame class. I know this is, he's a legend of the game. I spoke about him coincidentally last night when we talked about George Garvin Brown. You talk about then Eric Gregory. And it's a rare class to be in. I just want to make that pitch. You heard it from me first. I feel like I'm a boxing promoter right now, but never thought, and I also never thought Kentucky would be the most important state in the union to me. I'm so thankful that I found Kentucky, all the great distilleries. To think back to the old days when there was just a few distilleries, and you think about what you've achieved in Kentucky now, the amount of distilleries, the amount of whiskey, the amount of international goodwill that whiskey's brought. It's truly everything Henry Clay could have ever imagined from his spirit. So thank you to Kentucky. Thank you to the KDA. Thank you to Eric Gregory, future Hall of Fame. I said it first. I want to say that.
I'm not paying him to say this.
I'm not.
I didn't know he was going to do this.
Yeah.
He actually had a mint julep today in the Round Robin Bar at the Willard Hotel where Henry Clay introduced the mint julep here to Washington.
Okay, so DC, Kentucky, we're like this. We're Louisville to Kentucky, right along the same latitude plane. We are there. We're the same place. That's all it is.
All right, let's kick this off. You ready?
All right.
All right. This is an exciting day for Kentucky bourbon and the incredibly talented teams at every distillery in Kentucky who for more than 200 years have crafted America's only native spirit. So please join us in raising your glasses. This is Bourbon Heritage Month. And during Bourbon Heritage Month, we celebrate Kentucky bourbon that is building communities and boosting economies across the state and around the world. From record-breaking global exports to 25 years, as Mandy said, 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail adventure, bringing millions of people to our Commonwealth, and to you, most importantly, our bourbon fans around the world who have gathered with us for the first ever worldwide toast of Kentucky bourbon. We say thank you and cheers.
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 Thanks, Mandy.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Eric.
Yes.
Yep.
That's amazing.
On your shelves at any liquor store.
Nice.
Come to Jack Rose to try this. This is incredible whiskey.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thanks.
We hope you continue to have a great party in DC and have fun and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you. We
Take
will.
care. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for tuning in to the very first hour of the Worldwide Toast to Kentucky Bourbon. Please remember to toast and post with the hashtag World Bourbon Toast. We'll be live streaming for the next 26 hours, so please drop in anytime. We'll be here. Our next toast, how many minutes before our next toast?
About 45 minutes.
Okay, so we hope to see you again in 45 minutes. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to the Worldwide Toast to Kentucky Bourbon. I'm Katie. Joining me is Mandy, the Director of Kentucky Bourbon Trail Experiences. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, and I am so excited to kick off our second hour celebrating the global success of Kentucky bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. We are toasting at 4 p.m. in each time zone, and right now we're toasting with locations including Samoa and Tonga, both island nations in the Pacific Ocean. If you're tuning in from there, welcome. If not, we're glad you're joining us from wherever you are.
And please remember to toast and post your toasting experience today. Let us know where you're toasting from. We want to see where everybody is. And remember to hashtag World Bourbon Toast, and don't forget to tag the Kentucky Bourbon Trail on all your social channels.
Yes.
So we have two very special bourbon guests joining us today. You know, when we first announced this event, we got a number of comments and reactions on social media, and one of them was from Whiskey Hunt, Australia. So we decided, let's invite them to join us. So Barack and Nadia are joining us from Australia. Hello and welcome.
Howdy, how are you? Thanks for having us.
Good. How are you guys doing?
Right,
Very
thank
good,
you.
thanks.
Wonderful. Well, Brock, first, a question for you. Can you tell us a little bit about Whiskey Hunt Australia, what it is, how it got started?
Yeah, it's Whiskey Hunt is essentially a bourbon fan page that kind of started by accident. I just, started posting some stuff on Instagram or whatnot of, bottles I would find or whatnot. And I had just moved back from the US. So one thing I kind of stumbled across was, I couldn't get barrel picks. And barrel picks didn't exist over here, wasn't a thing. So, one thing led to another. And we did our first one, which was a 1792 full proof back in 2020. And now we're, I think, 28, 29 barrel picks deep. And yeah, still going strong.
That's fantastic.
Well, that's amazing. Brock, you had mentioned previously when we chatted, your group comes to the Kentucky Bourbon Trail every year. For people that have never been, what is usually the first impression they have of Kentucky and the Bourbon Trail?
Yeah, we try to make it over every year, and sometimes we're bringing people that, most of the time actually, people that have never been. So, they're walking into this a little bit blind, and yeah, they're expecting good whiskey and good bourbon, which of course they get, but I think the other side of it, that hospitality, the distilleries, the way they open the doors for us, the food, the music, the whole thing that, the whole experience on the trail, it's kind of, people say it's the Napa Valley of the whiskey world, and it really is. It's a whole experience, and it's something you can plan a whole vacation around. It's not just about going for a boys' weekend kind of thing.
That's so cool. And I remember you saying that for some people, it's even their first time to the United States even.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. So, sometimes those are people just reach out and ask for, hey, can you make some recommendations? Other times it's coming across with us as a group. We're trying to get a group of sort of 18 people together next year to go. And again, most of those people, it'll be their first time. But yeah, it's pretty amazing what you guys have got going on over there. And, you've obviously worked at that and created this culture and this very inviting experience for us all. So we travel across the world to go check it out.
That's so great. I love that. So question for Nadia. So can you tell us, for somebody that isn't in any kind of a whiskey or bourbon club, what kind of people do you think make up the community of bourbon enthusiasts?
Yeah, so I suppose my experience of people within the community, I have personally found that it's just a really friendly community. Everyone wants to sort of share what they have, what they know, and make you feel really included. Funnily enough, when I first started on my bourbon journey, Brock was actually one of the first people to send me a little sample of whiskey.
Oh, that's great.
We've had a great relationship sort of ever since. So yeah, I do think it's just such a great community to help, be a part of something.
That's so wonderful.
So Nadia, your Instagram @agirltastingwhiskey has almost 70,000 followers, and your content is so fun and engaging. Why did you create an Instagram account dedicated to whiskey?
That is a great question. That is evolving. And I don't really know if there was one specific thing that made me start an Instagram page, but I definitely, being, I suppose, in this generation that uses social media for everything, Instagram was somewhere that I looked to try and find inspiration for what sort of bottles to buy and whatever was sort of out there on the market. And I guess I just sort of wanted to share my journey from my perspective, which obviously if you look at my page, you can see that it's very picture, costumes, like outdoors, adventures, all that sort of stuff. So I guess wanting to be just whiskey was purely just for the fact that whiskey was the one thing that had so much history and so much to learn about that I just thought there was really a place for it. So yeah, that's, I guess, why I did it.
I love that.
That's amazing.
I know, it's great.
So to Brock and Nadia, we are about to toast, and of course I have to ask you all, what are you going to be toasting with today?
I am toasting with, I think this is our second or third barrel pick I think we did, which was an Old Forester single barrel. So yeah,
Very nice.
we were lucky enough to get our hands on this. Pretty rare sighting over here. So yeah, I'll be toasting with that.
Great.
And
Nadia?
I will be toasting with the Angels and the Private Select that Brock and his team at Whiskey Hunt did, finished in port wine barrels. which is also one of my favorites from the group.
Fantastic.
Those are both great choices.
Yes.
Love that. All right, well, everybody get those glasses ready because it's almost time to toast.
Yes. And well, let's talk about what we're toasting with real quick.
Yeah, go for
So I've got the tried and true Maker's Mark. Andy, what are you
And
toasting with?
I am toasting with the Four Roses small batch, also a trusty go-to. We are going to be tasting through so many amazing bottles over the course of the next 24 hours. We're also going to have some special announcements about some special releases that you're only going to know about if you log in. So you better tune back in. And,
That's right.
Yeah, and you can get the first tips on how to get those bottles. But 25 years ago, Maker's Mark and Four Roses were both two distilleries that helped us found the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. So we are starting off with them tonight.
So special. So let's start the second toast of the worldwide toast to Kentucky bourbon.
Let's do it. All right. The Kentucky Distillers Association, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and all the bourbon distilleries across Kentucky want to show appreciation for Kentucky bourbon's global success. Here's to celebrating you, Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Cheers.
Cheers. Yum. All right. Well, Brock and Nadia, thank you guys so much for being here with us today. This was so much fun. We'll definitely keep following you guys, and hopefully on your next trip back, we'll get to meet you guys in person.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having us. We'll be there shortly, I hope. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you all. Bye.
Yeah.
And thanks to everybody for tuning in this hour. It's been so much fun. And remember to toast and post with the hashtag #WorldBourbonToast. We'll be live streaming for the next 25 hours. So feel free to drop in at any time. We're going to be here. Our next toast starts in roughly
About
how many minutes?
45-ish minutes.
About 45 minutes. So we will see you back here then. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to the Worldwide Toast to Kentucky Bourbon. I'm Steven.
And I'm Nick, and we are in the 12th hour celebrating the global success of Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month in America, and 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
We are toasting around the world at 4 p.m. in each time zone. And right now, we're toasting with locations that include Russia, Turkey, Finland, Greece, Ukraine, and Estonia.
If you're tuning in from there, welcome. And if not, we're glad you're joining us from wherever you are to toast our favorite spirit.
So remember to toast and post your toasting experience today. Let us know where you're toasting from, and remember our hashtag. That's World Bourbon Toast, and then tag the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
We have special guests this hour. Joining us live from Estonia, we have MeetNKY and Jan, and they've gathered some of their friends to help us celebrate the worldwide toast to Kentucky bourbon.
MeetNKY and Jan, welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey there.
Congratulations from Tallinn.
Hello. Thank you so much for being with us. You know, we've talked about how bourbon helps bring people together, and clearly it's bringing people together all across the world. So, MeetNKY and Jan, can you guys tell us what word or phrase do people in Estonia use when they toast, and what does it mean?
You know, certainly the first toast of the evening tends to be rather short in Estonia, as we are, you know, the Northerners, and we don't like to make too many words out of an occasion, so therefore we normally keep it quite simple, quite short, and the word is terviseks, for health.
Nice.
Love that.
Fantastic. Well, we're looking forward to toasting with you. So everybody, let's get our glasses ready because it is almost time to toast.
Steven, can you tell me, what are you toasting with this hour?
So I am toasting with Muhlenberg, and that is from the Bard Distillery in the western region of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
Nice. And I've got Waddy Boone from Preservation Distillery in the Bardstown region of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
Nice. So it's time to begin. Let's start the 12th toast of the worldwide toast to Kentucky Bourbon.
The Kentucky Distillers Association, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and all the bourbon distillers across Kentucky want to show their appreciation for Kentucky bourbon's success. Here's to celebrating you, Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month in America, and 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you so much, MeetNKY, Jan, and friends. It's fantastic to be with you. So thank you to everyone for tuning in this hour. Remember to toast and post with our hashtag, which is World Bourbon Toast. We will be live streaming for another 15 hours, so be sure to drop in. Our next toast will be in about 50 minutes. Hope to see you then. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to the worldwide Toast to Kentucky Bourbon. I'm Katie. Joining me today is Mandy. She's the director of Kentucky Bourbon Trail Experiences, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited and honored to kick off the 13th hour celebrating the global success of Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
Such a special day. We are toasting at 4 p.m. in each time zone today. And right now, we're toasting with locations that include Denmark, France, Germany, Norway, Poland, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, and Italy. And I think we might have a special guest from Italy. So if you're tuning in from there, welcome. If not, we're glad you're joining us from wherever you are.
And remember to toast and post your toasting experience with us today. Let us know where you're toasting from, and remember to include the hashtag World Bourbon Toast and tag the Kentucky Bourbon Trail on whatever social media platforms you're using.
We want to see everybody out there.
We do. All right, without further ado, we have a special bourbon guest waiting for us. Hello, joining us is Riccardo from Campari's Italy headquarters. You might be familiar with Campari if you enjoy a Boulevardier from time to time. Campari owns Wild Turkey Distillery and Wilderness Trail Distillery in Kentucky. Welcome, Riccardo.
Yes, hi, Riccardo.
Hi, welcome.
How
everybody.
are you doing?
I'm fine.
Good, good. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And we hear there is a really fun initiative happening this month in Italy with Wild Turkey. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, and it involves all the Wild Turkey family members across all of the Italy from north to south. Wild Turkey Family Project was born in 2018, and we have 30 Bourbon lovers. They are bar manager or bar owner from the best Italian cocktail bar. During my journey across all their cocktail bars, I challenged them to creating their unique version of the classic whiskey sours for the occasion, the Bourbon month. So it results in 30 creative and incredible whiskey sour twists that everyone can order in their cocktail bars. If you want to discover more about them, where to find them, and the recipe, follow the Wild Turkey Italy Instagram page.
Oh, wow. That sounds so exciting.
Now I want to go to Italy just to have some cocktails.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So there is so much to celebrate this month, Riccardo, and we know there's another big anniversary that just happened in your Wild Turkey family. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, this September we celebrate the Jimmy Russell 70th anniversary with Wild Turkey Bourbon. Wild Turkey honors the world's longest serving active spirits master distiller with a special release of an 8 years old bourbon, a limited edition of 101 proof whiskeys. Jimmy is a bourbon legend. He was one of the first that introduced many innovative whiskey. For example, the first barrel-proof bourbon, the rare breed, or the first single barrel, the Kentucky Spirits. And he was also the first to introduce the honey-flavored bourbon liquor, the American honey. And he most known for perfecting the recipe for the Wild Turkey 101, the heart and soul of the Wild Turkey portfolio.
So impressive and amazing.
Yes, he's just a legend.
Incredible. Yes, yes. Well, Ricardo, one more question for you. Can you tell us what you say in Italy to toast and tell us what it means?
Yeah, in Italy, we say salute. Salute, when you say it, you wish good health to all.
Wonderful. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. And if you'll stay on with us, we're going to get ready to toast here in just a minute. So everybody get your glasses ready. It's almost time. But first, let's talk about what we're toasting with real quick. So in honor of Jimmy Russell's 70th anniversary, I have got wild turkey here.
Yes, and this particular bottle is a private barrel selection that is a visitor center exclusive. If you're lucky enough to stop by when they've got one of these out, you can pick up something very special for yourself. And then I am toasting with the Wilderness Trail Bourbon. As you know, I am born and raised in Danville, Kentucky, and I still live there today. And I was actually married at Wilderness Trail Distillery. Fun fact, they don't do that for everybody. But
that's so sweet.
yeah, I was lucky enough to get in there. So yeah, this is very special to me personally.
Well, that is a perfect segue into, let's start the 13th toast of the worldwide toast to Kentucky bourbon.
All right, let's do it. Okay, the Kentucky Distillers Association, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and all the bourbon distillers across Kentucky want to show our appreciation for Kentucky bourbon's global success. Here's to celebrating you, Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Cheers.
Cheers. Well, thank you so much, Ricardo, for joining us today, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for tuning in this hour. And please remember to toast and post with hashtag World Bourbon Toast. We'll be live streaming for the next 14 hours, so drop in anytime. And our next toast, I think, how far are we from our next toast?
About 50 minutes.
Okay,
50.
So we're about 50 minutes away. We hope to see you again then, and cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to the Worldwide Toast to Kentucky Bourbon. I am Stephen.
And I am Nick, and we are in the 15th hour celebrating the global success of Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month in America, and the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
We're toasting around the world at 4 p.m. in every time zone. And right now, we're toasting with locations that include the Azores and Iceland.
If you're tuning in from there, welcome. If not, glad you're joining us from wherever you are to toast our favorite spirit.
So remember to toast and post your toasting experience today. Let us know where you're toasting from, and remember our hashtag, and that's World Bourbon Toast, and tag the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
Stephen, this hour we have a special guest joining us. Coming to us live from St. Louis, we have Sean with the Brighton Agency, and their office is getting together later today to help us celebrate the worldwide toast to Kentucky Bourbon.
Hey, Sean, how are you? Welcome. Glad you're with us today.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me. Super excited to be here.
Yes. You know, Sean, we had heard that our World Toast has inspired you to do something really fun at your agency. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So Brighton Agency is full of creative events that help our agency's culture. And when we heard about this celebration, it definitely inspired us to want to create a new series of events that we're calling the Brighton Bourbon Brief. And so every month the plan is to get together where I'll be the kind of guiding the agency through learning about the bourbon trail, what makes a bourbon, and then every month we'll be taking a new stop on the trail featuring a new distillery and a new spirit. So I'm super excited to be able to guide our agency through the bourbon trail.
That's fantastic. I mean, I love sharing what I've learned about bourbon as well. I just recently got back from a trip to the Bourbon Trail and had the time of my life, and understand that you've been to the Kentucky Bourbon Trail a number of times, and just wanted to ask you, what do you love about it?
Yeah, so I think what I love most about the Bourbon Trail is that every trip is new, meaning that there's so many distilleries and there's so many parts of Kentucky that you get to visit that no one trip is the same. And so I love that part about it. I get to learn about new traditions and the history of each distillery. It's new sights and new smells, and obviously new tastes. So I just love the fantastic range that the Bourbon Trail offers in terms of trips and visits.
Yeah. That's something that we've been talking about with our work with the Kentucky Distillers Association is that, like you said, Sean, there's so many different experiences and opportunities for visitors to build their own bourbon trail, all the different regions you can explore. There's something for everybody.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, Sean, we are getting close to our big toast. So the big question for you is, what are you toasting with?
So I have a wild turkey rare breed that's been signed by the Buddha of bourbon himself, Jimmy Russell. So
wow,
I have that at the ready.
Nice. And
fantastic.
We know from one of our earlier interviews with Campari in Italy that this is another big anniversary year for Jimmy Russell, celebrating 70 years with wild turkey. Another accomplishment there.
That's fantastic.
Sure. Amazing.
Well, let's all get our glasses ready because it is almost time to toast.
But before we do, Stephen, can you tell me, what are you toasting with this hour?
I am toasting with Bullet.
Nice. And I have Town Branch.
Okay, let's do this. Let's start the 15th toast of the Worldwide Toast to Kentucky Bourbon.
So if everyone wants to raise a glass, the Kentucky Distillers Association, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and all the bourbon distillers across Kentucky want to show their appreciation for Kentucky bourbon's success. Here's to celebrating you, Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Cheers.
Cheers. That's
good.
Nice. So thanks so much for tuning in this hour. Remember to toast and post with our hashtag, and that is World Bourbon Toast. We will be live streaming for another 12 hours with more special guests to come, so be sure to drop in. Our next toast will be in about 50 minutes, so we hope to see you then.
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, Sean.
Welcome to the Worldwide Toast to Kentucky Bourbon. I'm Katie, and joining me today is Mandy. She's the director of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail Experience. Thank you so much for being here today. We're so excited.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. We are here at the 16th hour celebrating the global success of Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
It's a big month.
It is a big month. We are toasting at 4 p.m. in every time zone around the globe, and right now we're toasting with locations including Cape Verde and Greenland. If you're joining us from there, welcome. If not, we're glad you're joining us from wherever you are.
Yes, and please remember to toast and post your toasting experience anytime today. Let us know where you're toasting from, and please remember to hashtag World Bourbon Toast. And don't forget to tag the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. We want to see where everybody's coming from.
Yes. We have two special guests this hour.
This is our first hour of two special guests.
Yes, back to back.
Yes.
The first one that we have is joining us all the way from across the pond in Ireland. First, we have June O'Connell, CEO of Skellig 618 Distillery in Ireland. Welcome, June. We're so excited to have you.
Hi, June.
Hi there. How are you? Great to be here.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Delighted to be with you. We have a beautiful summer's evening here, late summer, so we're very delighted to have some sunshine here to be able to join you, where you're used to a lot more sunshine, but it's beautiful. Great to be here.
Oh, well, wonderful.
So June, there is so much history and heritage within Irish whiskey and Kentucky bourbon. Can you talk to us a little bit about the links between the two?
Yeah, well, I was just listening to the video there at the top of this item and the conversation about 250 years ago, the start of bourbon. And this year in Ireland, we're celebrating 700 years of the first mention of distillation on these islands. And so ourselves and our neighbours, the first mention of distillation and aquavita, which of course then went on to be, in the Irish language, fiorishka, which means true water, the water of life. And then that got shortened to whiskey, which isn't a million miles away from whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey. So as well as the, the exchange of information and people and skills. Names get transferred over and back down the generations as well and down the centuries.
I love that. That's amazing. Well, since I have both of you here, something I'd love to ask you both to answer for us. We know there's such a great relationship between the Kentucky Distillers Association and the Irish Whiskey Association, and we think that's so special. We know you guys are friends. What kinds of things do you both learn from that relationship?
Well, I suppose from our side, it falls probably into two different categories. There's always the ongoing exchange of information and know-how. Of course, wood ties us in a way that's really interesting over the generations in terms of bourbon casks traditionally then being used by you guys and finding their way across the Atlantic into our spirits industry here. So that, of course, ties us, and all that know-how. There is a lot of regulation that's coming down on stream in relation to that. So we're exchanging information and know-how in relation to that. Also, we are, I suppose, working very closely with the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. And we had a fabulous meeting in Dublin this summer where we exchanged just, once again, knowledge and know-how and different consumers. You guys started with 7, I think it said at the top, and now you're on... did I see here 46? I mean, that's a fantastic, over 25 years. We're just starting. We have 28 different distillery and whiskey experiences on the island of Ireland. So right from down in the very southwest corner where I am now on the Skellig coast, up to the very northeast corner. So in the opposite corner, one of the oldest distilleries on the island of Ireland, Bushmill, sits, and we're on the diametrically opposite corner, and we're one of the newest distilleries. We're all working together and all learning from each other. And so that's been great to make sure that, first of all, it's never any hardship to get into a room with people and talk about the whiskey traditions, the culture, people, visitors. So it's been really great.
That's wonderful. Well, Mandy, how about from the Kentucky Distillers Association perspective?
Yeah, so just to reiterate what June said, we're in our 25th year here at the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Irish whiskey, 700 years.
It's just amazing.
Incredible, and I'm sure we still have so much to learn from Ireland and its people there. And it's people like June that are really keeping the tradition alive, the centuries-old tradition from Ireland. So we have a lot to learn from them. And there are so many similarities between Ireland and Kentucky, even just the pastoral landscape, the limestone shelf that both of our land sits on and filters the water that makes the best whiskeys in the world. And then even the dry stone masonry, the fencing, all across Kentucky, that came from Irish immigrants. So we have so many similarities. We're so fortunate to have our friends over in Ireland.
Beautiful ties. So June, another question for you. As we are celebrating the 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, we know you also, as you mentioned, have the Irish Whiskey Trail. Can you tell us a little bit more about that experience? I know you said, is it 26 distilleries now?
Yes, we have 28 actually.
Oh, 28, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so there are more distilleries. That is the number at the moment who are, so we the Irish Whiskey Way, and we use a website, IW360, meaning Irish Whiskey 360, and you can log in there and book into each of the experiences. And some of them are very big, like the international multinationals, and then some of them are much more what I call analog. But we find that our visitors want people. I mean, whiskey is about people, and it's about talking about a place and a history and a culture. And we talk about the times where we just had to be, we were all in our cultures trying to get around regulations. We're talking, it's always a bit of fun to have chats about prohibition and to have chats about trying not to pay the King of England too much taxes. And, it's always a bit of fun. Of course, everything is completely above board and regulated now. But in our histories, they're wonderful stories. So we share those. Very much about the landscapes. Irish people are very famous worldwide for storytelling. We love telling stories. We love when people are interested. And everybody's a poet. Everybody knows about the castle in their area. Everybody knows the story about the old chieftain. And so it's always great to be able to exchange those. And that's the experience that visitors can experience, as well as trying some of the traditional Irish whiskies they'd be familiar with and some of the new contemporary styles of Irish whiskey. But really, I suppose the landscape is similar, but we really lean into barley growing here. You know, we don't have the climate to grow as much maize as you have, the climate to grow, but it shows as well the innovative nature of the people that went over there 250 years ago and said, maize, what's this stuff? I know, let's make whiskey out of it. We lean into barley. So in Irish whiskey tradition, single pot still is the traditional Irish style of whiskey making, and that is a mixed mash bill of malted barley and unmalted barley. Cue the story as to when malted barley was taxed at a high level by the King of England 200 years ago, 300 years ago. Some of the Irish said, we need to find a way not to give this fella so much tax. So why don't we try it with some unmalted barley as well? And we stumbled upon this fantastic taste profile. So it's always a bit of fun and it's always a bit of crack. So it's great to be able to have that. And that's what visitors can expect. They meet Irish people, they get to try new whiskies, old whiskies, and learn a little bit.
That sounds incredible.
Yes.
I know we want to plan a trip soon.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes, yes. Well, June, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes.
We cannot wait to see your toast and post pictures, and we'll be looking for that. And we're going to go on and talk to our next special guest.
Yeah.
So thank you,
Thank you so
again.
much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Gosh,
Oh my gosh.
we've got to get to Ireland.
I know.
Yes.
All right, 2026.
Yes, I'm in.
We're in.
Yes.
All right.
That'd be so much fun. It's so neat, too, how we've been talking about how bourbon really brings so many people together, and there's just not a shortage of stories all over the world when you start talking about that. It's just
Yes,
incredible to
it's
hear.
so true.
And we have our next special guest with us.
Yes. Our second guests are Laura Lee and Gretchen from MB Roland Distillery. It looks like we have a third person there too. MB Roland Distillery is located in the western region of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail in the beautiful little town of Pembroke. So welcome, welcome.
Yes, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. This is Nick, by the way.
You know, with you being in the western region of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, which is another beautiful part of Kentucky, can you tell us a little bit about what people can expect when visiting that region and your neighboring distilleries?
Yeah, my turn for this one. It's kind of the Wild West of Kentucky bourbon. All of us out here, we're a little more spread out, so you get to enjoy a little bit more of the beautiful Kentucky scenery. We always recommend you take the back roads and go through all these great little small towns and truly get that authentic Kentucky experience. So you're going to find that almost all of us are grain to glass and for double pot distilling. Here at MB Roland, all of our ingredients, not just our grain, but even the staves to build our barrels are coming from within about a 30-mile radius of our distillery. So we're really keeping it local, getting a true terroir of what Western Kentucky has to offer in a glass. And then, of course, that experience back to the roads, unlike anything else, is very
That's wonderful.
That's incredible. I can also add, MB Roland has some top-notch distillery pets. Cats, dogs, they've got it all. I was just there a week ago and couldn't pry myself away.
Added bonus.
Yes, always. So next question. We're very excited about this very special bottle we have here. This is the first bottle we're actually talking about. We asked a bunch of our distilleries to do some single barrel picks for the Kentucky Bourbon Trail's 25th anniversary. MB Roland has picked this beautiful bottle for us. Can you tell us a little bit about the bottle we're drinking from today?
And I will actually take that one. I have the really hard job of pulling samples and tasting all of the barrels here.
Man, somebody's got to do it though, right?
I had to take it for the team, but I have a lot here that keep me on track. Particular barrel, we all remember the days of 2020 and everything that was going on then. Well, even though those were some low times, For whatever reason, MB Roland was making magic in 2020. This particular barrel is from March of 2020, and every March barrel that I have sold so far have been absolutely great. So I'm not sure what we in March of 2020, but they are all really, really special.
Wow.
So this is our flagship bourbon, and it's a mash bill of 78% white, 17% rye, and 5% malt. And it did come out of a 25-gallon barrel, and there were only 74 bottles of it. So
Wow.
you might want to rush over here.
Oh my
yes,
goodness.
yes. We will handle this one with care.
Yes. So where can folks pick up this bottle?
We get some dark candy fruit on the nose with a hint of toasted marshmallow and a bit of cocoa. And then on the palate, we got some cinnamon bun with pralines and a drizzle with a little bit of toasted oat. And then the finish is long and warm, and it's got those hints of dark fruit again, and a little bit of that warm baking spice, like tobacco.
Amazing.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds incredible.
You just made me so hungry and
I know.
thirsty at the same time.
Yes.
So can you tell us where and when this bottle will be available?
I got that one. It's on our gift shop shelves now, so you guys come see us in Pembroke, Kentucky. And it's only in the gift shops. We don't have it online or anything like that because there's only 74 bottles. So I don't know that it's going to last through the rest of Bourbon Heritage Month. So don't delay it. Come see us today.
I was gonna say, people better get a move on.
Yeah, get out there and get it.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you guys so much for being with us. And if you'll stand by and do a virtual toast with us, we'll get our glasses ready to toast in just a minute. But let's talk about what we're toasting with here.
Yes.
So I am going to have a taste of this 25th anniversary edition MB Roland. I'm excited about that.
Yes, and I've got another very special bottle. Log Still Distillery, located just outside of Bardstown, has also done a 25th anniversary bottle for us. This is going to be available on October 1st in the distillery. This is their wheated bourbon. It is their #1 selling expression. They actually just won an Ascot Award last year for this expression, and the People's Choice Award at the Bourbon and Beyond Festival last year. So you know this is going to be a good one, especially if you like wheated bourbons like, say, a Maker's Mark, a Larceny. It's going to fall right in that flavor profile.
Oh, that's great. We have two great ones for our toast.
Yes.
So with that, let's start the 16th toast of the worldwide toast to the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
Yes, let's do it. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. The Kentucky Distillers Association, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and all the bourbon distillers across Kentucky want to show our appreciation for Kentucky bourbon's global success. Here's to celebrating you, Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
So good.
Delicious.
Yes.
Gonna have to go to the visitor center and pick up another bottle of that.
For sure. Well, thank you all for joining us
thank
from
you
MB
so
Roland.
much.
Thank you.
Well, and thank you all for tuning in this hour. Please remember to toast and post with hashtag World Bourbon Toast. We'll be live streaming for the next 11 hours.
Yes.
So drop in again. You might find some more surprise guests with us. So how many minutes now?
We have about 40 minutes
Okay.
till the next live stream.
So we'll see you back here in 40 minutes. Hope you join us. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to the worldwide toast to Kentucky Bourbon. I'm Katie. Joining me today is Mandy. She is the director of Kentucky Bourbon Trail Experiences. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm so excited to kick off the 17th hour celebrating the global success of Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
It is a big month. We've got a lot to celebrate.
Yes, such a big month. We are toasting at 4 p.m. in each time zone around the globe, and right now we're toasting with locations including Fernando de Noronha, Brazil, South Georgia, and the South Sandwich Islands.
Wonderful.
Yeah. If you're tuning in from there, welcome. If not, we're glad you're joining us from wherever you are.
And remember to toast and post your toasting experience today, and let us know where you're toasting from. Please remember to hashtag World Bourbon Toast, and don't forget to tag the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. We want to see where everybody's coming from.
Yes.
So we have 2 more special guests this hour. First, we have folks from the Indianapolis agency Miller Brooks. They have all gotten together to celebrate the worldwide toast to Kentucky Bourbon Trail. So welcome.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Good. We're actually at a client meeting in Cincinnati today, so.
Nice. Well, thank you guys so much for being with us.
Of course.
Yeah, so with your client, I think I hear you guys were bringing some Kentucky bourbon to them for this event.
We did. We brought them some Old Forester Statesman.
Nice,
Ooh,
nice.
delicious.
Yes.
Yeah, and a great movie.
Well, so that might answer our next question, which was we were going to say, what are you going to be toasting with today?
That's it.
That's it.
Nice.
That's a good one.
You are representing Indiana and Ohio, which those 2 states love them some bourbon. Every year, those are top states we get visitors from, and they take plenty of Kentucky bourbon back home with them.
That's great. Well, you guys get your glasses ready. We're going to talk to our next guest, and we so appreciate you being with us today. And tell everyone hi there.
Will do. Thank you.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, so it's nice to have people from all over joining us.
it's
and I know
exciting.
we've got a second guest coming up in just a minute.
Yeah.
So, yeah, tell me about some of your favorite Northern Kentucky spots.
Oh, yeah, because they are joining us from Cincinnati.
Yeah,
which is right across the river from Northern Kentucky. Yeah, they do share a lot of tourism in that area. Cincinnati having, so many of the large sports teams, which Kentucky doesn't have a lot of. They're able to share because we have the bourbon,
Yeah.
they have the sports. They all have great food and drink in those areas. And the Ohio River going right through there has historically been a large shipping port for bourbon.
That's great.
So back in the day, especially the Maysville area, tons of bourbon went up and down that river.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. So I think we're
we have
ready for our next guest.
Yeah, our second guest is joining us from Louisville, Kentucky. Welcome to the Worldwide Bourbon Toast. We are at Angel's Envy in Louisville, and we have Owen Martin, the master distiller at Angel's Envy. Welcome.
Hi. Thank
Howdy.
you. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Yeah, happy to.
All right, Owen. Angel's Envy takes quite a different approach to bourbon than most distilleries in Kentucky. How do you find the balance between honoring the tradition and history of the craft while also continuing to innovate?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the whole brand, right? That's what we were founded on, was taking a traditional industry in bourbon and adding the finishing aspect to it. So when I'm looking at new Angel's Envy products, or even, what we're doing day to day, it's definitely with a nod towards tradition, but figuring out what the new places we can take the industry in are.
That's amazing. So your flagship bourbon is aged in what?
Ruby port barrels.
Ooh, delicious. I love that.
That's great. Well, another question for you guys. We know Angel's Envy sees thousands of visitors every year, but for somebody that's never been to the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, how would you describe that experience for them?
I would say it's definitely a varied experience, right? The experience we're giving is a very high-end, very modern one, whereas you can go to distilleries with decades or hundreds of years of experience that will give you a very historical one, and then you can go from very large all the way down to craft. So there's a little something for everybody on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
Nice.
That's great.
And I love that they offer experiences like Bottle Your Own. They have cocktail classes. They have so many different ways for visitors to engage in their interest level.
That's great.
Okay, so we are about to toast. Ooh, one other thing I wanted to ask you, since we have this amazing bottle right here. This is the 25th. This is a single barrel pick that you did for the Kentucky Bourbon Trail's 25th anniversary. So can you talk a little bit about what people can expect with this bottle?
Sure. I mean, this is basically just a version of our flagship turned up to 11. So higher proof, more port contact, just a big, bold flavor, and a wonderful single barrel. Available November 7th.
November
Nice.
7th. Put
That's
it on the
awesome.
calendar,
Yes,
folks.
yes.
So
That's
excited.
great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And if y'all will stay on for our virtual toast here in just a minute, get those glasses ready. It's almost time. But we were going to talk real quick about what we're toasting with. So I actually have that Angel's Envy 25th anniversary edition. I'm excited to try that.
Yes.
And what are you tasting with
So
today?
I have another very special bottle here. James B. Beam Distilling Company, just south of Louisville, also did a 25th anniversary for us. This bottle will be available for sale tomorrow, the 18th, in the gift shop. You have to go there to get it, and there are only 25 of them, one for each year. So these are going to go super fast. This is a 7-year-old product. It's delicious. It's not going to be seen ever again.
That's
so you
awesome.
got to get it fast.
So we've got 2 great bottles here to
Yes.
do our next toast with.
So exciting.
With that, let's get ready to start the 17th toast of the worldwide toast to Kentucky bourbon.
Yes. The Kentucky Distillers Association, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and all the bourbon distillers across Kentucky want to show our appreciation for Kentucky bourbon's global success. Here's to celebrating you, Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Good. So good.
So good.
Yes. Well, thank you all for tuning in this hour. Remember to toast and post with hashtag World Bourbon Toast. We'll be live streaming for the next 10 hours. So drop in again. We're going to have more great guests on the way. And so our next toast is in how many minutes?
About 50 minutes from
About
now.
50.
50.
50 minutes. So we hope to see you back then. Cheers. Welcome to the worldwide toast to Kentucky bourbon. I'm Katie. Joining me today is Mandy. She's the director of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail Experiences. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so ready to kick off our 18th hour celebrating the global success of Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
We have a lot to celebrate.
So much to celebrate. So much so that we are toasting in every time zone at 4 p.m. And right now we're toasting with locations including Argentina and Brazil.
Fantastic.
Nice. So if you're tuning in from there, welcome. If not, we're glad you're joining us from wherever you are.
Yes, and please remember to toast and post your toasting experience today, anytime. Let us know where you're toasting from, and remember to hashtag World Bourbon Toast. And don't forget to tag the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. We want to see where everybody's coming from out there.
Yeah, can't miss you.
So we have 2 special guests this hour. First, we have Brianna from Kentucky State University, and they got together to celebrate the World Toast to the Kentucky Bourbon. So thank you guys so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us. We're so excited to be here.
Yes, and please tell us who you have with you.
I'm actually going to let them introduce themselves.
Yeah, great.
So I'm Kirk Pomper. I'm a professor of horticulture at Kentucky State University and teaching and doing research in our fermentation and distillation sciences program.
Oh, fantastic.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Lisa. Everyone calls me PP. Here I'm at J. Mattingly 1845. I'm a blender here and a brand ambassador.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic.
Welcome.
Thanks for
Thank
joining
you. Yes, thank you so much. Well, and we were so excited you guys could be with us today because we hear you have introduced a new certification program, and we would love to have you tell us all about that.
Sure. So Kentucky State University has started a certificate program in fermentation and distillation sciences. And so it's a 4-course program where folks come in and learn about bourbon and spirits and other fermented foods too, and in an introductory course. And then they go on and actually learn about food safety and aspects of food handling and distilling practices. And then they also have additional training then in a specific program tailored to their needs, exploring a various area of distillation sciences. So sometimes that's going to be working actually at a distillery. And we're really blessed. We're here in the production capital of bourbon here in Kentucky and Frankfort. And so it's an opportunity for our students to go out and see a lot of different ways of making bourbon and experience a lot of those things that you just couldn't experience other places.
That's just
amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So why is it important to provide this certification at this time?
Well, of course, bourbon is huge in Kentucky. It's a $9 billion industry. Lots of positions that are available for our students. We really have a lot of opportunity in terms of production and trying to actually make the bourbon, but then also in terms of sales. And so we're really trying to run the gambit in our program to be able to have the students understand how bourbon is made and what goes into that process, but then how they can utilize that information for sales opportunities and others too. Such a broad industry, there's a lot of different interests by our students, and we want to offer them the opportunity to really move up in various positions in the industry, and it's a real wide open industry right now for advancement.
That is just incredible. Well, thank you for the work that you guys are doing.
Yes, thank you. And I love the idea of keeping our talent here in the state of Kentucky and not letting those people go to other places. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, you got to train them up and keep them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining us today. And please keep your glasses ready. We'll be doing another virtual toast here in just a little bit. But yeah, I know what an impact the bourbon industry makes on the economy in Kentucky. And so that's so great to see more and more education around that and helping, continue those traditions and training and teaching. And
yeah, and there's so many different aspects of distilling.
Yeah.
It's not just the technical distillation, but we need engineers, we need
Yes.
welders, we need hospitality people, we need accountants, we need all of those people to make this happen every day.
Yes, that is such a good point. I think so often, when people are just talking about the product, they forget how many people and different types of talent that you need to be able to make this happen. So
Absolutely.
it's so great to see.
All right, our second guest is tuning in right now from Louisville, Kentucky. Welcome to Andrea
Hello.
Wilson.
Hi.
She is Michter's COO and Master of Maturation, a title that I just adore. Welcome, Andrea.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks. I'm so excited to be here. This is an exciting time.
Oh my gosh,
Totally
it is. Lots to celebrate this month for sure. Well, we know you have got so much family history in this industry. And so we would love for you to tell us a little bit about that and how you found your journey and your way in the bourbon industry.
Well, so my great uncle worked for the Seagram Corporation, and my grandfather was a moonshiner here in Kentucky. So
Awesome.
not uncommon
Yes.
to have that. But I genuinely was a child that enjoyed making things. I enjoyed flavors. I came from, my mom, my grandparents all cooked. I was always tasting things. I was always making things my own way. I came from a family that made beer and wine, nothing commercial, but just enjoyed the opportunity. And I also came from a family that enjoyed hospitality. They were always hosting people, drinking highballs, doing all the fancy things with their glasses, and I was just always enchanted by all of that. So I really at a young age decided that, I wanted to do something in spirits, and ultimately went to school at the University of Louisville. I'm born and raised Kentuckian, and went to school here, graduated from university with a master's in chemical engineering. And then thought I was going to get my big break in the industry. But unfortunately, at the time that I graduated, the industry was really not growing. It was not in a good time. Kentucky bourbon was not booming like it is today. And it's also a career industry. People get into it and they stay in it for a lifetime. And you make a lot of friends. There's a lot of family in this industry, and we love it very much. And we're all very super passionate about it. And so it wasn't the right time for me, though. And so I became a consulting engineer for many years, worked for a global firm, and then ultimately went to work in the bourbon business many years ago, went to work for Diageo, and I worked for them for many years and ultimately ran their North American distilling and maturing business. And then came over to Michter's about 10 years ago and have just enjoyed it very, very much. I really enjoy making a beautiful spirit and knowing that it's going to be enjoyed all over the world.
That's incredible.
Just
wonderful.
amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So Andrea, I personally have had the privilege over the course of my career to watch you in positions of leadership. You are the first female to ever chair the board of the Kentucky Distillers Association. Can you tell us how the industry and the Kentucky Bourbon Trail has changed over the course of your career?
Yeah, it's changed a lot. I will say that. So when I joined the Kentucky Distillers Association board, which goes back about 20 years ago now, at that time there was about 7 of us around the table. 6 of those individuals were male, and there was a part-time, if I might say it that way, president for the association. Today, we have many, many members in the Kentucky Distillers Association. We have over 100 distilleries across the state of Kentucky. The Kentucky Bourbon Trail was really just getting going and, kind of figuring out a lot of things, and people were starting to think about what would a visitor center look like and the excitement around all of those things. And people were hosting guests, but the concept of having these big visitor centers, and people would travel from one visitor center to the next, and they would come and they would visit for weekends and spend time and enjoy the hospitality that each of the cities had to offer. That was the vision, and that was the excitement of the time. And now to see, fast forward, like I was saying, over 100 distilleries in Kentucky now, and so many members in the Kentucky Distillers Association, and seeing over 2 million visitors a year coming for the sole purpose to learn like this beautiful spirit that has so much heritage, so much history. And the beauty of it is we don't all make it the same way. We all have our little beautiful ways of how we do it that really influence the final product. And I think, as a born and raised Kentuckian, we've always loved our Kentucky bourbon, but the fact that now it's, grown outside the borders of our state, outside the borders of the United States, and it's become a global phenomenon, and people connected all over the world around this common interest of American whiskey and Kentucky bourbon and Kentucky rye is just, it's really changed. People are making beautiful cocktails all over the world. The spirit was once, not really regarded as a sophisticated, high quality spirit, but today, it's very much so. You're seeing it in movies and TVs, shows. You're seeing it, bourbon clubs all over the world. It amazes me that you have a bourbon club in Australia that's connecting with a bourbon club in, Louisville, Kentucky. I mean, it's the most amazing thing to have people connecting around a spirit that they enjoy so much. So a lot has changed over the many years that I've been working in the industry.
It's absolutely true. And you said cocktails. somebody has one of the best cocktail bars in the state of Kentucky, right on Main Street in Louisville. It might be Michter's.
Well, I appreciate that
It
very
is
much.
beautiful.
We have an amazing team of people across our locations and the Fort Nelson Distillery. Anybody tuning into this toast, we welcome all of you to come visit the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Come visit Michter's. We have a beautiful cocktail bar on the second floor. You can experience cocktails, you can take tours, you can buy merchandise, you can learn more about Michter's, and we welcome all of you there.
Fantastic. All right,
Yes.
Andrea, so it's time for our big toast. What are you toasting with today?
I am going to be toasting with our recent release, which is released September 1st, which is our toasted barrel finished bourbon. So Michter's was the first to do a toasted American whiskey product where we make our bourbon, age it 5 to 7 years, and then take it out of wood and put it back into a toasted only barrel. And it's a beautiful expression.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Sounds amazing.
So good.
So, and I have to do, every good toast has to have a pop.
Yeah,
that's right.
So
Beautiful. No better sound, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
No, that's great. Well, we so appreciate you joining us. Please stay on, and we're going to toast virtually here in just a minute. We want everybody out there, get your glasses ready because it's almost time to toast. We're going to chat real quick about what we're toasting with today. So I also have a Michter's.
In honor of Andrea.
Yes, in honor of you. That was my selection for this toast.
Oh, thanks very much.
Yes, and I chose a Blade and Bow, which is a product from Stitzelweller Distillery. When I started at the KDA, Andrea was with Diageo, as she said, and this was one of the products that she would have worked with. So in honor of Andrea's long and illustrious career, cheers.
I love that. So with that, let's start the 18th toast of the worldwide toast to Kentucky bourbon.
Okay. The Kentucky Distillers Association, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and all the bourbon distillers across Kentucky want to show our appreciation for Kentucky bourbon's global success. Here's to celebrating you, Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and the 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers to everyone.
Cheers. Thank you
Thank you
much
so
for
much.
joining us. That was so great, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody's toasts and posts.
Yes.
So thank you all for joining us for this hour. Remember, Toast and Post with the hashtag World Bourbon Toast. We'll be live streaming for the next 9 hours. So keep dropping in. We've got more special guests coming up. And our next toast is in
about 40 minutes.
Okay. So we hope to see you back here in 40 minutes.
Yeah. See you soon.
Cheers. Welcome to the worldwide toast to Kentucky bourbon. I'm Katie. Joining me today is Mandy, the director of Kentucky Bourbon Trail Experiences. And thank you so much for being here with us today. We're so excited to have you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. We are kicking off the 19th hour celebrating the global success of Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
Yes, a lot of things to celebrate,
So much
including
to celebrate.
19 hours. We've made it 19 hours.
19 hours, and we still look so fresh.
That's right.
We are toasting at 4 p.m. in each time zone, and right now we're toasting with locations including the U.S. Eastern Time Zone, Quebec, Canada, and Ontario, Canada.
So welcome.
Yeah. And if you are tuning in from there, welcome. If you're not, we're glad that you're joining us from wherever you are.
Yes. Remember to toast and post your toasting experience today. Let us know where you're toasting from. And please remember to hashtag World Bourbon Toast. And don't forget to tag the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. We want to see where everybody's coming from out there. So today at this hour, we have 3 special guests.
Unprecedented.
It really is, yes. First ever. So first we have folks from Indianapolis agency Miller Brooks for the second time today. Cheers to you guys. Thank you so much. We're so excited to see you all, and we love that you guys are not just celebrating in one place, but you're celebrating in multiple places, not letting meetings hold you back. So that is so exciting. So can you tell us, what are you going to be toasting with today for this hour?
Well, we've got a whole spread here. We've got some Angel's Envy and a couple old fashions made with Woodford Reserve, and we've also got a bottle of the new Riff. So we're trying a couple things.
Fantastic. Ooh. Perfect timing for our later toast.
Yeah, it's a great lineup.
That is wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. And please stand by for our virtual toast happening in just a little bit. We're going to cut over to our next guest, but thank you guys. And so our next guest is joining us from Northern Kentucky.
Yes,
which
I'm
is a
very
excited
area. About this one. Hi. So
Hello.
So with us from the Beeline in Northern Kentucky is Julie Kirkpatrick. Hello. Welcome, Julie.
Welcome.
Hello, friends. What a great day.
Ooh,
yes.
We're so excited. So tell us where you are at today.
Well, I am at the world famous Party Source here in front of their new Merchants Club to celebrate Kentucky's bourbon. You know, Party Source is the world's largest liquor store that I think has the world's best selection of Kentucky bourbon.
You might be right about that.
That's great. Oh my gosh. Well, okay, so you're in the northern region of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and we would love for you to share with us, you know, for people that maybe haven't been, what can people expect when visiting that region and your neighboring distilleries?
That's right. So we have an amazing experience here in northern Kentucky, the north of the South, the top of the bourbon state, called the Beeline. It is a collection of 7 Kentucky Bourbon Trail distilleries, amazing bourbon bars and restaurants, all of it inviting you to come to Kentucky for your first sip of Kentucky hospitality, and then make a beeline deeper into the Commonwealth to see where we make 95% of the world's bourbon.
That's amazing. We love it. We love it.
Yes.
Well, so important question today. What
Very
are
important.
you toasting with? The question of
So
the hour.
With about 100 of my new friends here at the Party Source, I am toasting with some new Riff made right here in the shadow of the Party Source.
Oh,
Cheers.
fantastic.
Awesome.
That's great. Well, please hang with us. We're going to do a virtual toast in just a few minutes. And we've got our third guest. As you said, first time we're doing 3 in this hour. It's
I know.
fantastic.
This is just incredible. So, oh, wow.
So excited.
We're here. All right. So we've got Connor O'Driscoll, the master distiller at Heaven Hill Distilleries.
Yes,
Welcome.
welcome.
Great to see you guys. You're looking awesome for 19 hours into this.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll see. A few more hours to go. We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for being with us today.
Yes. So
Honored to be
Connor,
here. Thank you.
what path in your career? How did you get to where you are as master distiller?
Short answer is luck of the Irish.
Love it.
I grew up in Dublin, got my degree in chemical engineering, got sent to a place called Terre Haute, Indiana for a 3 to 6 month assignment with Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. 4 months later, they asked me to stay. 6 years later, I shaved my head, rode my motorcycle across the country, ended up in Colorado for the winter, and came back to Louisville for the Kentucky Derby and met my wife.
Wow.
Always said this American experiment didn't work out. It'd be fun to go back to Dublin and try and get a job making Guinness. But once I met Kim, I was like, you know what? I kind of like bourbon. I kind of like Louisville. I should try and get a job in that. And that was almost 21 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Incredible. That's incredible.
It's been fun. It's still fun. It's a lot of fun.
That is amazing. Well, and I know when we talked earlier, and just you have such a fascinating background, and I think something that I think is so unique to this industry, it seems, is the camaraderie that is within the bourbon industry, even among brands that compete on the shelf. But when you start talking to people, you know how connected everybody is. People have been at different places. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, I see at least two whiskeys that I've worked for before, and with some of our friends on this. So yeah, it's at the production end, it's a very tight knit group of friends. We just had the Kentucky Bourbon Festival in Bardstown this weekend, and it was great to connect with Denny Potter and Jane Bowie of Potter Jane Distillery. Denny's my predecessor here at Heaven Hill. When I started my career with Brown-Forman, we made a lot of whiskey for Heaven Hill. One of the big events in Heaven Hill's history was a giant fire in '96 that burned our distillery down. The industry rallied around, called the next day, could talk to Max Shapiro, executive chairman, and said, what can we do to help? And that's kind of what kept Heaven Hill in business through the darkest chapter in our history. And we've got so many friends across this industry, across this business. It's so much fun.
That's incredible, truly incredible.
Yes. So Connor, if you were talking to somebody who is a newbie, they've never been to Kentucky, and you're trying to get them to visit the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, what would be your sales pitch?
Julie put it great. Come enjoy whiskey. Come enjoy bourbon. This is the home of Kentucky bourbon. So many people see Kentucky as a flyover state, and they look out the window of the plane. They have no idea all the cool stuff that goes on here. But as soon as they land in Louisville, Lexington, Covington, any corner of this wonderful state, and meet the people, see the countryside, taste the whiskey, then we've pretty much got it for life then. And I'm basically a living testament to that too.
Yes, that's so great. We talked to some of our Irish friends a little bit earlier today, and it is amazing how much bourbon is bringing people all over the world here. We talked to an Australian whiskey group last night, and they were saying how sometimes that's people's first time coming to the United States is to come visit the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Do you have anything that you would tell people coming from other countries of what to expect for their first visit from your perspective?
Don't come expecting anything you've seen on TV, especially about Kentucky. It's probably not accurate. But come and meet. I mean, the people here are wonderful. The whole state's got so much going for it. Great history, great arts, incredible food, incredible whiskey. It's an incredibly welcoming state, and you can, once you're here, it's easy to get other places. But why would you leave? There's so much to do here.
Yeah. That's so great.
And of course, bluegrass music. Let's not forget bluegrass music.
Yeah,
that's right.
Can't beat that.
That's right.
Okay, so Connor, we are about to toast, and the big question for you: what are you toasting with?
So I am drinking Old Fitz 13.
Oh my
one
gosh!
of our most recent ones. If I can get my camera to work, there it
Oh
is.
yes.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
This is what we call the VVS, and the reason I picked this one, two reasons. We brought this out to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Heaven Hill acquiring the Bernheim Distillery, where I'm in my office at the Bernheim Distillery. That's a fake background of one of our warehouses.
I couldn't tell.
The other reason I chose this bottle is for our 25th anniversary celebration. Everybody here on the distillery team signed it. It's kind of hard to see there. See all the signatures?
Wow. Yes.
That's the fantastic crew I get to work with here every day.
That's amazing.
I love that.
Make the whiskey every single day. Every day we make 1,500 barrels of whiskey here. Largest single site bourbon distillery in the world. But obviously I get to do the fun stuff like this. The stills are running right now. We're mashing, we're fermenting. The magic is happening. And so cheers to the Bernheim team for a start.
That is amazing. Yes. Well, please stay with us for our toast to begin in just a minute. So everybody get your glasses ready. But let's first quick talk about what we are toasting with. And I actually chose an Elijah Craig in honor of you, Connor.
Thank you, Katie.
Perfect. We're just in each other's minds today, right? I just had a feeling.
You have very good taste, Katie.
Thank you.
And in honor of the Beeline in Northern Kentucky, I also chose a new Riff product.
Awesome.
And just for the people that don't know, Mr. Ken Lewis was inducted last week into the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame. And not only was he the newest inductee, he also was awarded the Parker Beam Lifetime Achievement Award. Parker Beam worked for Heaven Hill for many, many years. He was the master distiller, the predecessor of Connor.
46 years. Yeah.
42. That's amazing.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
Ken. That was a well-deserved accolade.
Yes, so Ken founded the Party Source, which at that time was unheard of, to open a big box retailer that large and focus on spirits and wine, obviously. But then he sold the Party Source to his employees, which is a detail that I personally love.
Yes.
And he started New Riff in the parking lot of Party Source.
Which is amazing.
So now you can visit New Riff and then go over to the Party Source
Yeah.
and find all the other bourbons from Kentucky.
So great.
Yeah.
Well, with that, let's start the 19th toast of the worldwide toast to Kentucky bourbon.
All
You're
right.
awesome.
The Kentucky Distillers Association, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and all the bourbon distillers across Kentucky want to show appreciation for Kentucky bourbon's global success. Here's to celebrating you, Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Cheers.
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 Congratulations. Thank you.
So good.
So good.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you to all of our guests for joining us. We so appreciated you being here today. Thank you to everyone else tuning in this hour. Please remember to toast and post with hashtag World Bourbon Toast. We'll be live streaming for the next 8 hours. That number is going down and down. We're going to kind of be sad when this is over. This has been a lot of fun.
I know.
So drop in anytime. We've got more special guests. And our next toast, when's our next toast?
About 45 minutes.
Okay, so we hope to see you back in 45 minutes. Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome
to the worldwide toast to Kentucky Bourbon. I'm Katie. Joining me today is Mandy. She's the director of Kentucky Bourbon Trail Experiences. Thank you so much for being with us today. We're so excited.
Well, thank you so much for having me. We are kicking off our 20th hour, celebrating the global success of Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. What could be better?
I mean, we have a lot to celebrate.
So much.
Just keeps getting better with all these hours that go by, right?
I know, yes. We're toasting at 4 p.m. in each time zone around the globe, and right now we're toasting with locations including the U.S. Central Time Zone, Peru, and Manitoba, Canada.
Fantastic.
If you're tuning in from there, welcome. If not, we're glad that you're joining us from wherever you are.
Yes. And remember, toast and post your toasting experience today. And please remember, when you're toasting, we want to see where you are and hashtag World Bourbon Toast. And don't forget to tag Kentucky Bourbon Trail. We want to see everybody out there. We've been seeing some great posts today. It's so fun to see all the cocktails happening and fun parties everywhere. So today, in this hour, we have 3 special guests. To start us off, we are dropping in on 2 locations with the ad agency Lewis. First, we're dropping in on their Birmingham, Alabama office. Hello, everyone. They are joining us from their rooftop, and we saw some pictures earlier that looked amazing. We saw, I think, an old-fashioned cake. I feel like they should send us a piece of that. I'm not sure how we could get that to us,
I
but
know. We
that
got
sounds
some Uber
amazing.
Eats, some DoorDash
Yes.
up in here.
Yes, so looks like you guys are having fun. Second, we're dropping in on Lewis's Mobile, Alabama office. They are at the Haberdasher Bar. Hello, everyone. That looks like a fun party.
Oh my gosh, so fun.
And we hear Haberdasher is in downtown Mobile and is known for their old fashions. So I'm not sure how many have old fashions, maybe a raise of hands. All right, all right. Got some representation on the old fashions.
Nice,
Feels
delicious.
appropriate, yes. Thank you guys so much for celebrating with us, and stand by with your glasses. We're going to be toasting virtually in just a few minutes. And we've got our next guest.
Okay. I am so excited to welcome our next guest all the way from Louisville, Kentucky. It's Kaveh Zamanian with Rabbit Hole Distillery. Welcome, Kaveh.
Hi, Kaveh.
Hi, how are you all?
Good.
Good. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. I got my glass ready to go.
Fantastic.
Yes, exciting. So, Kaveh, tell us how you got into the bourbon industry and why you decided to start Rabbit Hole Distillery.
Well, like all good stories, it starts with a girl. I fell in love with a Kentucky girl 21 years ago. Started coming down here to Louisville, and through her, discovered bourbon and really just decided to dive in, literally leaped in the rabbit hole of bourbon. And 13 years ago, decided to start Rabbit Hole, closed my clinical practice. I was a clinical psychologist for 20 plus years, closed that up to get in the bourbon business. And it's been an amazing ride. And, you know, as we say around the family, there's no going back after we leap in.
That's
amazing.
incredible.
I love
yes.
that story.
Well, and I know we've talked previously and heard you talk about, and others talk about the camaraderie that is within the bourbon industry that we see exhibited by everyone. And we'd love to hear you talk a little bit about that from your perspective and how you've experienced that.
And listen, it's absolutely incredible. It's basically, my experience has been, it's one family, really founded on this idea that rising tides lift all. There's tremendous hospitality, open arms. Everybody helps each other out. It doesn't matter if it's technical or otherwise. It's really like one family. I think for me, it's also been this continuing history of immigrant distillers in the Commonwealth. You know, other companies welcomed me with the open arm. I mean, imagine a guy named Cave coming to Kentucky, starting a bourbon company. And, you know, it's been just unbelievable how open and receptive everybody's been and how helpful everybody's been. So I can't say enough about the welcoming nature of the industry. And I think there's really, truly nothing like it.
That's incredible. We love to hear that. It's just amazing stories everywhere. So can you tell us, we've asked so many people we know there's so much that is special about Kentucky bourbon. And we love hearing it from different people, what their feeling is on that. So tell us what you think is so special about Kentucky bourbon.
You know, everybody talks about the limestone water and the cooperages, the grains and all those things. And all those things are really valid. But for me, you know, aside from all these different variables, there's a long history and tradition of whiskey making in Kentucky. You know, I look at Kentucky as kind of the intellectual center for bourbon and American whiskey. So it's really that technical expertise and the art and science of distilling that is here. So if you want to get into American whiskey, you want to get into bourbon, this is the place to be because you have amazing, absolutely amazing distilling talent here like no other place.
That's wonderful.
So great. Okay, Cave, we're about to toast. So tell me what you've got in your glass there.
All right. I got this bottle of single barrel. It's our high rye double malt, single barrel cask strength. It's about 105 and change, and it's a delicious pour. That's what I'm drinking today.
Nice.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Yes, I'm sure a lot of people out there are wishing they had that in their glass too.
Yes, they are.
Well, everyone get your glasses ready because it's almost time to toast. We're going to talk for a second about what we're drinking. Cave, in honor of you, I've got the High Gold Rabbit Hole. Mm-hmm. And Mandy, what do you have?
Yeah, so in the spirit of camaraderie, I have one of Rabbit Hole's but neighboring distilleries right down the road. Louisville is Bourbon City, and there are so many great bourbon distilleries to visit. So right down the road from Rabbit Hole, you can also visit the Old Forester Distilling Company. I have their 1920 expression, 115 proof. It's
Very
delightful.
nice. Wonderful. So with that, let's start the 20th toast of the worldwide toast to Kentucky bourbon.
The Kentucky Distillers Association, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and all the bourbon distilleries across Kentucky want to show our appreciation for Kentucky bourbon's global success. Here's to celebrating you, Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
So good.
So good.
Yes, thank you, Cave.
Yes, thank you so much for being with us today. Great
My pleasure.
to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And thank you all for tuning in this hour. Remember to toast and post with #WorldBourbonToast. We'll be live streaming for the next 7 hours. That number, it's
going down.
Yeah, it's going down, but I am going to be sad when it's done.
You're just going to miss me.
I am, Mandy. We're going to have to just do this again. So drop in anytime. Our next toast, how long before our next toast?
About 50 minutes.
All
50
right.
minutes.
So we hope to see you back here. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to the worldwide toast to Kentucky Bourbon. I'm Katie, and joining me is Mandy, Director of Kentucky Bourbon Trail Experiences. Thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And if ours were birthdays, we would be ready to legally drink because this is our 21st hour.
That's right.
Celebrating the global success of Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. That is going to come back. So remember those words, 25th anniversary.
That's right.
Of the
We
Kentucky
have a lot
Bourbon
to
Trail.
celebrate.
We do. We are toasting at 4 p.m. in each time zone, and right now we're toasting with locations including U.S. Mountain Time and Saskatchewan, Canada.
Yes.
Yes. So if you're joining us from that Mountain Time region or Canada, and you're tuning in from there, awesome. If not, we're just glad you're joining us.
That's right. Remember to toast and post your toasting experience today. We've been seeing some great posts out there, lots of celebrations. We want to see more of that. So make sure when you're toasting and posting that you remember to hashtag World Bourbon Toast, and don't forget to tag the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. We want to see everybody out there. So we have this hour 2 special guests. First, we have Skip from the Shoals Bourbon and Whiskey Club. And a few of them have gathered together and wanted to celebrate the world toast to the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. So Skip, can you tell us where you are today?
Yes, we are at our insurance agency. My partner Josh Kelly and I, we own this place. It's called Citadel Benefits Group. We're in Tuscumbia, Alabama, and it is the kind of home speakeasy bar of the Shoals Bourbon and Whiskey Club. We've got about 1,400 bottles of bourbon here. We get together every Friday and have a few pours.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh, I need an invite.
Come on down.
Okay, so Skip, can you tell us about the Shoals Bourbon and Whiskey Club and how it came to be?
So yeah, a few years ago, we opened an insurance agency in downtown Tuscumbia, and we decided that we needed to have a little community time. So each Friday afternoon, we just started inviting some folks from the community for a happy hour, and it blossomed into, we've got about 300 members in our Facebook group, and sometimes we have 15 or 20 of us here. Sometimes we have 5 or 6 of us here, but we come together to celebrate bourbon heritage, bourbon history, and just have a good time.
That is wonderful. Yes. So it is so wonderful. I think we've seen so many today examples of how bourbon really brings people together. There's such a community and a fellowship behind it, and that's so special to see. That's great. Now, Skip, we hear you have a side hustle as a teacher. Do you want to tell us a little bit about where you're teaching and why you're teaching there?
I do. I'm an instructor for Whiskey University. We're based out of Columbia, Tennessee, and we offer well over 200 different courses. We teach bourbon history, bourbon heritage, and any and everything about whiskey and bourbon.
That's great. Wow. Love seeing that education continue on.
Yes, it's pivotal. So, Skip, you have so many incredible bottles on the table in front of you. What are you going to be toasting with today?
Well, in honor of the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, we have broken out, we got this out from behind the glass, and it is the 25th anniversary bottle of Booker's.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's amazing. Oh, well, thank you so much. It's awesome.
Yes, thank you guys so much for joining us today. And please stay with us and get ready for our virtual toast happening in just a little bit. We've got our second guest is Carlton Wood from the ad agency Lewis. Lewis's offices are in Tennessee and Alabama, but Carlton is calling in from Philadelphia. How's it going? Good to see you. Great. I think we might be having 1 second. I can't.
All right, let's try that again.
Oh, yes,
Woo!
perfect. We are live here, so.
If you
That's
had
right.
any doubts.
So, yeah. So, Carlton, can you tell us what are you doing in Philadelphia and what's going on there?
So we are in the city of brotherly love with several of our ICOM partners, marketing agencies around North America, Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. And we're here for a conference. But more importantly, we're here to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. And we are in a bar restaurant called the Mulberry in the city center of Philadelphia. And I'm here with my friend John.
Hi.
Who has been telling me all about Angel's Envy, and he's already made me one Angel's Envy Manhattan.
Nice.
I'm going to let John talk a little bit about Angel's Envy and what's behind me here.
Perfect.
Friends from Angel's Envy gave us this really awesome briefcase, which I had no idea in which the contents included. But it's a really nice portrayal of the product itself. It goes from this raw product. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's a demonstration of 6 different bottles all going through different aging processes.
Wow.
The brand itself is very adamant about the way that it's finished. The Angel's share is considered 5% that's lost to when you age bourbon. They like to say Angel's Envy because they like to think everything that they make is that valuable that the Angels envy those who have it. Represented here is a couple of different pieces of oak. There's charred American oak, which every single whiskey made by Angel's Envy it's in those barrels, and then there's the port, and then a rum finished cask there as well. We have 7 or 8 different types of smoke that we can impart to cocktails here, featuring up to different Angel's Envy spirits in it, right?
That's awesome.
Katie, I've asked John if he would smoke an old fashioned for us, so I'm going to let him set that up.
That sounds great.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
So we get cocktails and
I
a
just
show.
wanna thank everybody in the other room. They're being so quiet. When I turn this laptop around, you're going to see there's a big crowd behind it.
They're being very good.
They are. They're not entirely happy about it, but they're being good.
It's always so fascinating watching cocktails be made.
I know. It's one of my favorite pastimes. It's watching bartenders do their very hard work.
Yes.
Yes. Not only making cocktails, but listening to me and asking all the annoying questions that I ask. Now, why are you using that base spirit? Why are you stirring instead of shaking?
He's literally got 8 different wood chips that he can use that are going to impart a different smoke flavor to these cocktails.
Oh, wow. Which one is he using on this one?
I think he's going with a cherry theme and using, John, am I right there?
He's absolutely correct. So we can smoke and some spiced cherry bitters. Otherwise, it's traditional old fashioned. It's not good to divert to.
Amazing.
So when I turn the laptop around, we do the toast here in a minute, you can see a group that are also drinking Maker's Mark Old Fashions, Woodford Reserves, Manhattans, and then some of them are drinking Angel's Envy neat. So
Nice.
We had a couple different bourbons that we wanted to serve.
That's great. Those are all great choices.
Yes. I feel like y'all are doing the world toast right.
Yeah.
Plenty of good options.
And he's got our amazing glass. We love to see it.
Here comes the fun part.
Ooh, here comes the smoke. Ooh.
So fun.
Nice. I think I need one of those at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that not fantastic?
That is beautiful.
That looks amazing.
Yes.
All right.
Nice.
Now I have something else to toast with. So now I'm going to turn this around, and you can see the big crowd.
Wow. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Y'all are having quite a good party there, it looks like. Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
All right. Well, hang on for everybody. Get your glasses ready. We're about to do our toast. And real quick, we're going to talk about what we're toasting with here. We've got 2 special bottles. These are 25th anniversary special editions.
Yes.
That I'll let Mandy tell us what we've got here today.
Yes. So these are 2 very special bottles. Woodford Reserve put together a 2 barrel batch for us. So it's not a single barrel, it's a double barrel. It's kind of unique. These are on the shelves in the Woodford Reserve Visitor Center right now. They did them just for us. Hopefully they're still there and you can still pick one of them up. This has over 200 different flavor profiles represented in there. So yes, this is very exciting to have. Next up, Green River. This is a product out of Owensboro, Kentucky. It's in an old distillery that was defunct for a while. It was the old Medley Distillery, and it's massive and beautiful. Green River has bought it, restored it. It's awesome. And so they are bottling this at 122 proof. I've never had Green River at a proof that high before.
Oh, wow.
So, it is delicious. I got to taste a little bit of it earlier, so that's very exciting.
That
and
is awesome.
This, I think, went on sale today in the Visitor Center in Owensboro, so you got to get out there and grab it.
That's great. And I hear there's a little game hidden within the bottle.
Yes, this is super fun. Are
You
we
guys
ready?
have to see this.
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, you have to see this, guys.
Yes, so this bottle was designed with a horseshoe on the bottom. So not only is it beautiful, but it makes for a very fun game.
So will you demonstrate for us?
I will.
Okay. Pull this over here.
You can buy the special Green River coin when you buy a bottle. A lot of the liquor stores even sell them, but you can just use a regular quarter if you don't have one. So there's just a nice little notch in there. Oh! I want one more try.
Hey, you had some good power behind that. So close.
I lose.
Yeah, that was great. Well, on that note, let's start the 21st toast of the worldwide toast to Kentucky bourbon. So everybody get your glasses ready.
Oh, yeah. I need my glass. Okay, the Kentucky Distillers Association, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and all the bourbon distilleries across Kentucky want to show appreciation for Kentucky bourbon's global success. Here's to celebrating you, Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. And cheers to you guys in Philly. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Well, and thank you all for tuning in this hour. Remember to toast and post with hashtag World Bourbon Toast. We'll be live streaming for the next 6 hours. So drop back in. We've got more guests on the way. Our next toast is in
about 45 minutes.
All right. So we hope to see you back in 45 minutes. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to the worldwide toast to Kentucky Bourbon. I'm Katie. Joining me is Mandy, the director of Kentucky Bourbon Trail Experiences. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And we are kicking off the 22nd hour celebrating the global success of Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. And if you've been joining along with us all day, I hope that you've been doing what we're doing. We are hydrating, we are eating lots of food, we are taking bourbon breaks because we enjoy bourbon like a true Kentuckian responsibly. So we are toasting at 4 p.m. in each time zone. And right now we're toasting with locations including the U.S. Pacific time zone and British Columbia, Canada.
Yes. Welcome, everyone.
Yeah. So if you're tuning in from there, welcome. If not, we're just glad you're joining us from wherever you are.
Exactly. Remember to toast and post your toasting experience today. We want to see where everybody is from. When you're toasting, we please ask that you remember to hashtag World Bourbon Toast and remember to tag the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. So we have enjoyed seeing everybody's pictures and parties today. You guys are doing a lot of fun things out there to celebrate. So we have a very special guest this hour. We have Via from Spirits Canada. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I am so good. I'm super excited for this toast. How are you two going on the 22nd hour? That's incredible.
We are good. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, it's been a lot of hours, but at the same time, it's flown by. And I keep saying, I think we're going to be sad when this is over.
Definitely. So, Via, can you tell the viewers what Spirits Canada is and what you do for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So Spirits Canada is the national trade association and leading voice for the distilled spirit sector across Canada. So we represent some of the largest spirit suppliers in the world, some of which actually intersect with the membership of the Kentucky Distillers Association. And so we work with various groups such as industry associations, government, policymakers, to really advocate for a thriving spirit sector. And in terms of my role, formally, I am the Director of Communications and Public Affairs here. And amongst all the reading and writing that I do, meeting people who have the same interest and appreciation for spirits is really the best part of my job. And obviously learning about different products and their stories is high up there as well. So it's a fun job. I'm incredibly lucky, and there's no industry like it.
That's wonderful.
Fantastic.
Yes, yes. Well, and we were curious to ask you about, we know you guys have such a great relationship with the Kentucky Distillers Association, and we think that is so important for organizations like yours to have that kind of relationship and share things, and we've heard you and the Kentucky Distillers Association speak to that. So we'd love to just hear from you of why that's important and how that helps each other.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say that the KDA and Spirits Canada have a very special friendship. It's really a reflection of what this industry brings. A camaraderie and an awareness that, while members and products that we represent are really competitors out there in the market and on the shelves, associations like Spirits Canada and the KDA know how hard we have to work to really protect the industry, to really protect the craft, and to amplify the voices of those who have really worked to kind of get us here. And I think it's incredibly important to have a relationship with other groups that have, the same mandate. And even though the KDA is specific to the state, we've already, the staff at Spirits Canada have already expressed to them how impressed we are with everything that they've built to promote Kentucky bourbon within the state and of course globally. And so there's so much that we can learn from each other. And just from the conversations that I've had with the awesome team at KDA, we've already been so inspired by what we've been able to, learn from them and what they've been able to do for Kentucky bourbon. We've already expressed that we're shamelessly going to strive to kind of bring some of those elements across the border, from the way that they manage their membership and the way they grow their membership, their operations, the influence that they've had within certain policies that protect bourbon, and obviously their Kentucky Bourbon Trail. All of these things kind of equate to I guess an undeniable sense of pride. And I think that it's such an important thing to highlight, that you won't be able to associate yourself with these kinds of groups unless you have the same passion, because it only helps the industry when you're open to kind of learning about what others are doing. So we really value our relationship with the Kentucky Distillers Association.
Well, and I know they feel the same with you guys. I think that's such a very unique thing about this industry, is how everybody is so willing to share and to talk and communicate with each other, and the transparency that people have. That's such a wonderful thing to see. You don't see that in every industry, so that's really special. We also know that Spirits Canada and the Kentucky Distillers Association are members of the World Spirits Alliance. Can you talk about that organization and tell us what that is?
Yeah, so I actually met the KDA team at the World Spirits Alliance annual conference all the way in Geneva, Switzerland. And so the World Spirits Alliance is the international trade organization that represents spirits at kind of the global level. And they do an amazing job at this conference in getting a bunch of members together to really get in front of, trade and health stakeholders, but also really bring together groups that normally would correspond online or might not even know that they exist. And the sentiment holds true that when one group, or in the case of this event, state or country struggles, we all struggle. And conversely, when one group finds reasons to celebrate, we all support and celebrate alongside. And I think the World Spirits Alliance really does an incredible job at bringing these groups together and providing, a platform to create dialogue, to share their knowledge and the struggles and successes of our global counterparts. And so, yeah, it was my first time there, and it was the KDA's inaugural year and welcome to the WSA membership. And I just so happened to be sitting in proximity to Erica, Jessica, and Colleen while we were doing some of our working sessions, and it sparked these amazing conversations during the conference, and I got to experience amazing Kentucky hospitality in Switzerland through a super memorable dinner that they hosted. And I guess you could say the rest is history. They can't get rid of me or Spirits Canada anymore.
That's wonderful.
That's amazing. Okay, Sophia, we are about to toast. So can you tell us what you're going to be toasting with today?
I am happy to report that I'm going to be toasting with an Angel's Envy bourbon, neat. And I will say that I know a lot of, there are some great Kentucky bourbon doesn't make it here across the border. So I will be taking a trip to the trail along with our CEO in October to experience bourbon the right way. But the thing that I'm most excited about before we toast is that at the dinner that I mentioned with the KDA, we were gifted with something super special. It's actually sitting right in front of you right now, which is the Kentucky bourbon tasting glass, which was designed by a bunch of master distillers. And of course, being in communications, the story of how this glass was made and carefully curated elements is sort of to me like a love letter to the craft. So it's just a super small but powerful experience of the history and the passion that goes into making bourbon. So it's actually my first time using it. That wasn't by design, but quite serendipitous for this toast, and it certainly won't be my last. So yeah, I really appreciate it. I'm very thankful to be on this Worldwide Toast as a guest. I'm super honored, and I look forward to more toasts globally with you guys.
Oh, well, we do too. And I'm so glad you brought up that glass.
Yes.
Mandy, would you talk to us a little bit about this Libby glass?
Yes. We always say, get those Scotch glasses out of here. This is bourbon. Yeah, I was around for the creation of this glass. We had several sessions with our master distillers, our master tasters, other industry professionals. We locked them in a room for a couple days, and they smelled and tasted through a bunch of different glass types, and they decided that this one was perfect for bourbon because the nose is a little wider. It allows you to get your nose at different angles. You can go in, you can stay out. You have a little foot, so you can warm the glass with your hand if you want. You don't have to. You can hold it from the bottom if you want some ice in there. You can build a full cocktail in here. You can stack them, which you can't do with other whiskey glasses. They can go in the dishwasher. They're not going to break. There's just so many selling points for this glass. We love it.
That's awesome. That's great. So lock distillers in a room is the first.
Yes,
the first step to
you can get
creating
so
a
much
successful
done that
product.
way.
Exactly, exactly. Well, we're excited to have you with us for this toast. We want everybody to get your glasses ready because it's almost time, but we're going to talk real quickly about what we are toasting with. We've got two great selections from Bardstown.
Yes.
I've got the Lux Row 4-grain. And Mandy, you want to tell us what you have?
Yes. So I have something pretty unique that I picked out just in honor of Via here. Bardstown Bourbon Company is a very interesting, newer to Kentucky in terms of some of these distilleries that have been around for 100+ years. But they are all about transparency. So on the side of the bottle, they always put the blends that they put in here. So 11% of the whiskey in this bottle is 100% corn whiskey from Ontario, aged 12 years.
Wow. Excellent.
12 years.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that is a very fun connection. Bardstown is the bourbon capital of the world. There's so many fun distilleries to visit there. So Via, we're going to have to get you into some of those when you come down.
Yes.
Please do. I'm ready.
That's
I'm
great.
ready.
Well, are we ready to start the 22nd toast of the Worldwide Toast to Kentucky Bourbon?
Let's do it.
All right.
All right. The Kentucky Distillers Association, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and all the bourbon distillers across Kentucky want to show appreciation for Kentucky Bourbon's global success. Here's to celebrating you, Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Delicious.
It is. So good. Well, Via,
Wow.
thank you again so much. It was so great to see you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I hope you have an amazing rest of your toasts.
Thank you.
I hope you guys have a great time and some well-deserved rest after this.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye now.
And thank you all for tuning in this hour. Remember to toast and post with hashtag World Bourbon Toast. We'll be live streaming for the next 5 hours. We're down to 5 hours.
5 hours.
That seems crazy.
Yeah.
So drop back in. We've still got more guests coming. And our next toast is going to be in about
45 minutes.
Perfect. So we hope to see you back then.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome to the worldwide toast to Kentucky bourbon. I'm Katie. I've got Mandy with me here. She is the director for Kentucky Bourbon Trail Experiences. We're so happy to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me. We are kicking off the 24th hour celebrating global success of Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. We have been toasting at 4 p.m. in each time zone, and right now we're toasting with locations including parts of Alaska's Aleutian Islands.
Oh, wonderful. Welcome.
Yes. So if you're tuning in from there, welcome. If not, we're glad to have you joining us from wherever you are.
Yes, and please remember to toast and post your toasting experience today. We want to see where everybody is from. Let us know where you're toasting, and please be sure to hashtag World Bourbon Toast, and don't forget to tag the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
Yes, and we have a special guest this hour. Joining us from Lexington, Kentucky is Jared with Bespoken Spirits. Hi, Jared.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you?
Good.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you
Of course,
so much.
of course.
Well, we understand Bespoken Spirits has a unique approach and philosophy to bourbon. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah. So we take traditional whiskey making and just put our little emphasis on it. So we still are just using the 3 main ingredients, which is water, grain, and energy. And what we're really doing is creating more surface contact for that distillate. So we take prisms, which we are our own cooperage company. So we take independent wood stave company wood staves, and then we cut it, laser cutting it with a Boss laser, and then we toast both sides of the laser. So all we're really doing is deconstructing that barrel and putting it into our distillate. So while we're creating that distillate at a natural form and traditional, we're creating that surface contact and those tannins that are automatically being generated at a quicker form. Not exactly accelerated maturation, so to speak, which I'm sure that's a weird way of saying this, but we're just creating more surface area so that wood can gently become introduced to that distillate at a natural form.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you guys do some fun secondary maturations too, right?
Correct. So we work with new fill barrels. We work with 2 to 4 year barrels. We work with 6 to 8 and so on. But what our technology really brings to this environment is that we are creating an augmented water system that is more porous to those tannins. So when you look at a natural bourbon barrel, it's cut against the grain, which makes sense because you don't want those barrels to be leaking all over the place. We cut with the grain. So when we cut with the grain, it naturally brings a porous energy and brings those flavors. So we can work with exotic flavors like Miserana and Amberana and all these exotic high-priced flavors. We can actually bring in a natural flavor at a premium flavor at a minimal cost.
Wow, very scientific.
Yes.
Yeah, we're a tech company at heart, and we fully understand that we are going in a salmon direction more than a natural flow.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're not adding any outside chemicals or anything to mimic aging. All we're doing is creating more surface area for that wood.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, Bespoken is one of the newest members to the Kentucky
Yes.
Distillers Association.
Oh, wonderful.
And we're hoping that they will join us one day on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, hopefully very soon. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
So why did you choose Lexington as your home base? Lexington is bourbon land. There's so much history and heritage there, but why was it special to you all?
Well, to begin, we absolutely love our time that we had in California. And I'm not going to sit here and say that California wasn't good to us. Our origin was in Silicon Valley, in Menlo Park, and in Treasure Island. So I'm not going to sit here and say that we don't owed to the people that started us. But it was a natural progression to move to Lexington, Kentucky. And that was due to the one that we were so welcomed by Governor Beshear and Mayor Gordon as people that really wanted us to be in this state to begin with, because we are a tech company to start. And Kentucky alone is just, if you're gonna win it, you need to be here in this state. So it was more of a confirmation that if our technology was gonna survive, it needed to survive in this atmosphere. So it was more of a checkpoint for us, and it's obviously we've checked that box. But to be centrally located, to be totally transparent, is so convenient to our distribution relationships that we've already started. And let's be honest with you, like, Kentucky is such an upbringing of a relationship with from bottom to top that it's a family organization, and we just weren't having that in California. And in Kentucky, it's just from bottler to CEO, the roots are here. And to be next to 75 on distribution just makes so much more sense. You know, we were a very small company, and we still are a small company, but if we can succeed here, that is a testament that this technology can work, right? You know, I understand that, and we understand as a company that whiskey is a heritage company. This is a traditional passed down from generation to generation. But at some point, we're going to have that realistic conversation, unfortunately, that wood is not going to become as available as it was, say, in 2000 or in 1980 or into 1970. So our untraditional way of maturating distillate at a quicker rate is something that the state not only wants, but the country is wanting. So Kentucky has welcomed us with open arms with Governor Beshear and Mayor Gordon here in Lexington, and we have been more than thrilled to be a part of it.
That's awesome.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we've talked to a lot of people about Kentucky bourbon and what makes it so special. And we know there's so many things that make it special, but we would love to hear from you, especially with your perspective on that. You know, what do you think makes Kentucky bourbon so special?
I've related this in multiple ways, is that Kentucky bourbon, especially here in Lexington, but overall in the state, is a family. You know, the most impressed I've ever been is talking with others and them giving us insight. And I've used this term way too much, but high tide raises all ships. And it's never more true than in the bourbon industry here in Kentucky. I've got more insight and advice for a small company with so many other people that should be competitors, right? People should be aggressively like, hey, we want to win. And it's so amazing to hear the verbiage and the understanding that we want you to be here, we want you to be successful, and here's the tools that we've used in our past. I can't stress this enough. I have a background in other jobs outside of whiskey. That's just not a common denominator in other industries. So to me, Kentucky specifically is so family oriented, and I use the word family very strategically here. I've never been more welcomed as a competitor, so to speak, in an industry. So to me, it's the love, and love is a word that I don't use a lot, but the love I have for this industry and for what they've given me is something that you just can't replicate. And so it has been a no-brainer to be in this state specifically, and for hopefully I can bestow that love to somebody else that's new in the coming years, right? I hope I can learn from the other competitors.
So well said. And
Yes, it's amazing.
we've talked to others about that, and you're right, this camaraderie that exists in this industry is just, you don't find that everywhere. That's so special. So thank you for that.
Of course.
Well, so let's get our glasses ready.
Yeah.
I think we're nearing our toast. We so appreciate you being with us.
Yes. What are you sipping
Of course.
on?
Yes.
So we just released a new bourbon out for the market, and so with our technology, we work with I wouldn't use the word celebrities, but we do work with a lot of passionate entrepreneurs, and the newest entrepreneurship that we're working with is a group of actors called the Best Men. So if you know Taye Diggs and Morris Chestnut and Harold Perrineau, so the Best Men have came to us with our technology, and we've created a beautiful bourbon that's French oaked and 94 proof, and it's just absolutely exquisite. And to a little dialogue about what we do, this is aged for minimum 3 months. So, and we mimic that for about a 3 to 6 year bourbon. So I am cheersing on our newest bourbon, Stable, and it's just absolutely incredible.
Oh, that's great.
Amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, let's have everyone get their glasses ready, and we'll talk real quickly about what we have here. I've got the Bluegrass Distillers.
Yes.
And Mandy, which one do you have?
I have the RD1. We chose 2 bottles that were also located in Lexington.
So I can attest that both those distilleries just do such a fantastic job of really communicating what Kentucky history is. Barry at RD1 and the team at Bluegrass just do such a phenomenal job. So I highly suggest, please go to those distilleries. They're part of the Bourbon Trail. Yes. You should really go to them.
That's
great.
Yeah. Bluegrass Distillers has their home place down in Lexington and downtown Lexington, but they also are opening a second location in Midway on a farm.
Midway.
Oh, yes, it's beautiful. It's this old historic
gorgeous.
home they've
Wow.
renovated. It's so pretty. RD1,
It's so beautiful.
Yes. RD1 is located in the Distillery District in downtown Lexington. It's very cool.
Yep.
But they're also building a second location.
Ooh.
Also in
Right down the street from
Lexington.
us.
Yes.
Literally right down the street from us on Leestown Road.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. I can't stress this enough. Lexington is booming in this industry. And, we're at 8 right now. I'm not a forecaster, but I could totally see double that value come 2025.
I could too.
Yeah.
Lexington, I think they can sustain more.
Growing fast.
For sure, yeah.
Agreed.
Big Lexington bourbon family represented here tonight.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, with that, why don't we start our 24th toast of the worldwide toast to Kentucky bourbon?
Yes.
That's right.
The Kentucky Distillers Association, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and all the bourbon distillers across Kentucky want to show appreciation for Kentucky bourbon's global success. Here's to celebrating you, Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Oof, that's good.
So good.
Yes.
Unreal.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. It was wonderful talking to you. And have a good rest of your evening.
Yes. Let's enjoy this.
Yes,
Yes,
thank you.
definitely. And thank you all for tuning in this hour. Remember to toast and post with hashtag World Bourbon Toast. We'll be live streaming for another 3 hours. So you still have time to drop in, and we still have more guests along the way. So let's see, what are we down to now? We'll be back.
About 45 minutes to our next toast.
All right, so we'll be back, and we hope to see you then.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome to the worldwide toast to Kentucky Bourbon. I'm Katie. I've got Mandy here with me. She's the director of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail Experiences. And thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. We are in our 25th hour celebrating the global success of Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
I feel like this means we're in our 25th golden toast. Is that right?
Our golden hour.
Or a golden hour?
Yes, I think you're right.
Golden hour.
Yeah, the 25th of the 25th.
Yes, exactly. That's even extra special.
It's meant to be.
You know, as if we needed one more thing to celebrate.
I know.
But that's pretty special.
Here we are.
That's right.
We are toasting at 4 p.m. in each time zone, and right now we're toasting with locations including Hawaii. Did we give that away very much? So since we are toasting to Hawaii,
yes,
why don't we talk about our delicious drinks in front of us?
Yes, please. Yes.
So throughout the course of this celebration over the last 25 hours, yes, we have tasted through all 46 of the distilleries on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
Yeah.
We've done all of them.
That's right. We have finished those by now.
Yes, we have. So we went a little different direction since we're in Hawaii.
In honor.
Yes. So I got the pleasure of going to Hawaii a couple years ago. I picked this mug up when I was there from a vintage store. It's an actual vintage Trader Vic's mug, if you can see on this side of it.
That is so fun.
Yes, and I think they said this mug was actually made in the 50s.
Oh my gosh.
Which is super cool.
Wow.
So if you know me, you know I love exotic and tropical cocktails. So we went a little fun with this one. In Hawaii, passion fruit is pronounced lilikoi.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
I know. I kept seeing that on menus, and I was like, A, what is that? B, it's delicious.
Yeah.
I must know. And I learned it was passion fruit.
Oh.
So, most of these exotic drinks are rum-based. We're going bourbon-based today. So we have a Port Light.
Oh,
it's
nice.
a bourbon-based drink. It's got passion fruit. It's got lemon.
Yum.
It's delicious. It's tart. It's refreshing. It is so good.
Oh, sounds so good.
Yeah.
So excited for us to toast with it in just a few minutes.
Yes.
So everybody out there, please remember to toast and post your toasting experience today. Let us know where you're toasting from, and remember to hashtag World Bourbon Toast and tag the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. And we have our friends in Hawaii on the line. We are, there they are.
Welcome.
Yes, so happy to have you guys here. It's so great to see you guys.
Yes, welcome.
We are drinking special drinks in honor of you guys.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
Oh, thank you for being here with us. Can you tell us where you are?
Sure thing. Aloha mai kako. We are zooming in from Honolulu, Hawaii. We are Olomana Loomis. We're an integrated marketing agency, part of the ICOM worldwide network of independent agencies.
Can you tell us what word you use when you toast and what it means, if you can still hear us?
So to toast in Olelo, Hawaii, the phrase is hamau ki aha. It means to tip your glass.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Homo'iaha.
Love it.
Nice.
Oh,
Amazing.
well, that is great.
And what are you cheersing with today?
So today we are cheersing with old-fashioned cocktails made with 4 Roses bourbon.
Nice.
Delicious.
Yes.
Approved.
Oh, yes. That is great. Well, perfect timing back in. If everybody wants to raise their glasses, we're going to do our 25th toast of the worldwide toast to Kentucky Bourbon. Take us away, Mandy.
Okay. The Kentucky Distillers Association, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and all the bourbon distilleries across Kentucky want to show appreciation for Kentucky Bourbon's global success. Here's to celebrating you, Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. We are live.
Man down.
Man down. Man down. That was delicious, though. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, and I'm so glad we got to connect. We
Yes,
so
thank
appreciate you guys
you.
getting together to celebrate this special World Toast to Kentucky Bourbon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Oh, how fun.
It was so fun.
Yes,
Oh my goodness.
yes. Well, thank you all for tuning into this hour. Remember to toast and post with hashtag World Bourbon Toast. We'll be live streaming for just 2 more hours. But there's still plenty of time to toast and post. Don't forget to tag the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. And our next toast will be in, what are we at?
50 minutes.
50 minutes. So we hope to see you guys again then. So
Yes.
cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to the last toast of the worldwide toast to Kentucky bourbon. Can you believe last? Oh my
Cannot
gosh.
believe it.
I'm Katie. Mandy is with me. She's the director of Kentucky Bourbon Trail Experiences. And what a wonderful day. And thank you so much for being with us for this last toast in the last 26 hours.
Yes, well, I would not miss it. And thank you so much for having me. We have been celebrating the global success of Kentucky Bourbon, Bourbon Heritage Month, and the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail for the past 26 hours.
Whew, it's been a good day. Lots of celebrations.
So much to celebrate. We have been toasting at 4 p.m. in each time zone, and right now we're in our last time zone that's home to the U.S. islands of Baker Island and Howland Island in the Pacific Ocean just north of the equator.
Oh, wow. We're in our home stretch.
We are. So if you're tuning in from there, welcome. If not, we're just so glad you're joining us from wherever you are in the world.
Remember to toast and post your toasting experience today. Let us know where you're toasting from, and remember to hashtag World Bourbon Toast, and don't forget to tag the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. We want to see where everybody is out there. We've seen some great posts today, cocktails, all kinds of things. It's been wonderful. Before we bring on our last special guest to say our final toast, we want to thank everybody that has made this possible. We want to thank all of the special guests that dropped by throughout the last 26 hours and all the hosts and all the crew that made this happen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, for our last toast of the worldwide toast to Kentucky bourbon.
Joining us from Washington, D.C. is President of the Kentucky Distillers Association, Eric Gregory, to say the final toast. Joining him are my colleagues and friends, Allison, Adam, Sarah, Marielle, Jack, and Colleen. Eric, take it away.
On behalf of the Kentucky Distillers Association, we are thrilled to be in Washington, D.C. at the Lincoln Memorial. As we all know, Kentucky is the birthplace of Lincoln and the birthplace of bourbon. And we have been thrilled to share our signature spirit with people all around the world for the last 24 hours. So cheers to 25 years of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and cheers to America's only native spirit, Kentucky bourbon. Cheers.
Thank you for watching. Remember to toast and post with hashtag World Bourbon Toast. Thank you for joining us. Cheers
and good night.